Alright, so we are live on FB, we are live on Insta, and we are live on Zoom at the same time. And this is a first for me. I've never done 3 cameras before. We'll just wait for a few minutes, and until we're waiting, I just wanted to check with you. So, what brought you to this session? You could type in your comments. You could type in the chat and let me know what brought you to the session. What are you explicitly looking for from this session? Let me know. Here we go. So, how does one boost the immune system? And I waited for a while because I'm doing a really short session. I don't want people to have to go through an hour to just get these quick tips. But stay on right until the end because I have a super secret recipe that I'm going to share with you. This thing that I have, this tea that I have, has really been instrumental in helping people recover within a day or two from random viral infections that have happened, not just now, not just with COVID-19, but even in the past 3 years. It's a secret recipe that Thrive has invented, and I'm going to share that with you. Thank you all for being here. You guys on Insta, you guys on Facebook, and all the people on Zoom. Let's get started. So, we're going to do about 15 minutes of me presenting, and then the remaining 15 minutes are going to be for Q&A. So, keep your questions, put them in the chat, keep asking them on Facebook and Insta as you get them, and then I'll answer them at the end. Alright, to begin with, what is immunity? So immunity is a word that's been thrown around a lot, but if somebody had to ask you what is immunity, it's just two things. Either a good immune system offers you protection from pathogens and toxins, or a good immune system offers you resistance. So in case these things come into your body, then it's going to keep you protected. It's going to make sure that these pathogens and toxins don't harm you. And even healthier immune system won't even let these come into your body. It'll just reject them outright. So protection and resistance from pathogens and toxins is what a good immune system does, and that is what it means to have good immunity. And it's really technical how the immune system works. I'm not going to get in there. If somebody wants to know how it works, I will talk about it. But why we started talking about the immune system even before this COVID-19 thing happened is a lot of people who came to us for our consultations would often report random symptoms, and they wouldn't know that these are symptoms actually of a dysfunctional immune system. So our immune system has two components. One is your innate immunity, the immunity that you were born with, and second is the adaptive immunity. So every time you're exposed to a new virus or a new toxin, your body learns how to deal with that and then responds appropriately the next time you're exposed to that virus. This is what immunity building is all about. So let's say there's a new virus in town, you're exposed to it, your body reacts to it, your body fights with it, your body deals with it, kills it, and then in the end you have adaptive immunity towards that virus or that bacteria or that toxin. That is what your immune system is supposed to do. So the innate one is what you're born with, adaptive one is what happens as you go through life. And you know, there are nearly 280 million, I can't even remember the final number, but there are that many viruses and bacteria in this world. We are 90% microbial DNA and only 10% human DNA. There are entire research studies about it. So, you know, viruses aren't new. They've been on this planet much before humans came in, and we have them in our personal microbiomes. The problem is when the balance of the good ones goes down and when the bad ones come up, that's when you start experiencing diseases. So there is really no point in drowning yourself in sanitizer because you are meant to have bacteria and viruses and fungi and parasites and all of that on you. Different things do different things in the body. Now, I spoke of how people came to us in our consultations with random symptoms and you know, they wouldn't even know that this is the sign of a poor immune system. So they've come to us. So most people know that getting fevers and colds often is a sign of a really weak immune system. But often being tired, like this person in this thing is like the alarm is going off, but he's totally cuckoo. So being really tired, feeling fatigue, having digestive issues, right? So not being able to digest your food properly or having IBS or constipation also could be a sign of your immune system in the gut not functioning well. Delayed wound healing. So if your wounds are not healing fast, if you're getting skin issues like psoriasis, eczema, acne, this also is an indicator that your immune system is having a lot of trouble dealing with the toxins and the pathogens that are there in the environment. Plus, just feeling meh, like not feeling really good in life, is an indicator that the immune system is not working well. So we often counsel people who come to us thinking that it's just some deficiency, and then letting them know that okay, this could be a sign of a poor immune system. So if you are experiencing any symptoms like this, or you want to discuss any of this, because I won't have time to individually discuss the symptoms right now, but if you want to talk to me after this session about what is it that's really going on in your body, if you are experiencing any of these symptoms and now you're worried that this could be your immune system not really working well, we could talk after that. I will share contact details at the end of the slide, so you could get in touch with us. Okay, so we've got your back, so don't worry about it. But I just wanted to let you know that these are signs of a poorly functioning immune system. So then the question comes, so I'm really going through my slides quickly because I want to be there to answer a lot of questions, and I know there'll be lots. So how does one boost the immune system, right? What does it take to have a really well functioning immune system, and how does one boost it, as in how does one make it better than what it is? It's not that complicated, but it requires a certain level of understanding of how the body functions. So here you go. What does a good immune system need? It needs nutrients, it needs detoxification. We'll go through each for a couple of minutes. You need to make sure that you don't have any diabetes or insulin resistance going around in your body. You need to make sure that you're getting enough sun, and I'll tell you why. You need to make sure you're moving, again I'll tell you why, and you need to make sure your sleep is going really well. Now, why do you need the right nutrients? Because this is the raw material your body uses to make the components of your immune system. If you remember in the earlier slides where I spoke of innate and adaptive immunity, there were a lot of tiny things in those circles. These are different kinds of cells that your body creates as a part of your immune system. Now these things need protein, these things need your vitamin A, these things need all the B complex vitamins, they need vitamin C, they need vitamin D. All of these things go into making the ingredients of a really good immune system. So you need the right kind of nutrients. Second, you need to make sure that you don't have diabetes or insulin resistance going on in your body. Last week I actually did a live about diabetes and the connection to COVID, because there are innumerable research studies proving that anyone with diabetes, anyone with insulin resistance, and then of course the other metabolic health conditions like obesity and hypertension, is at much greater risk of a poor outcome from COVID-19. And it's not just COVID-19. I mean, COVID-19 is in the spotlight right now, but any infection would really make it bad for your body if you had diabetes as an underlying issue. So first, make sure you have all the right nutrients. Second, make sure you do not have insulin resistance and diabetes. If you already have that, we can help you fix it. This is what we do. We reverse diabetes all the time, because Indians are the world's leaders in diabetes. We have genetic predisposition towards diabetes. So please watch my talk. It's pretty long. It's a 1-hour talk last week, but it will really help you understand the diabetes and immune system connection. Third is detoxify. Why? Because if you have a toxin overload in your body, what happens is your immune system gets compromised, because your body is continuously trying to excrete these toxins. So your resources are being utilized just for that. Now in this scenario, if a new pathogen, if a new virus, if a new bacteria comes, your body is going to find it very hard to deal with this. So make sure your toxin levels are low. Secondly, if you have a lot of toxins and if your tissue has toxins in them, often viruses and bacteria go and find that diseased tissue and then start doing the replication work there. So removing toxins from your body is essential to maintaining a really good immune system. Fourth, sun exposure, and you can see how happy this lady is when she's out in the sun. Most of us really like being in the sun. It's called being in the sunshine and feeling happy. My yellow is part of that sunshine color code. But Sun exposure does something really important. It helps your body make vitamin D, and vitamin D is extremely integral to having a fully functioning immune system. Again, with COVID, people who looked seemingly healthy, you know, the young ones who died, or the ones who are not obese and they died, people are like, oh, COVID can attack anyone. It's not really that. If you look at the correlation between their vitamin D levels and the outcome of a COVID-19 infection, those with low levels are the ones who had the worst time with COVID-19. So getting enough vitamin D in your body is really important. Sun exposure does a lot of other good things also, which again, if I start talking about it, it will be a 2-hour session. But sun exposure is really important to keep your immune system high. I mean, at a high level. Move. So I wouldn't say the word exercise as much. I like using the word move, because exercise then makes you think of 1 hour in the gym, and that 1 hour in the gym is not as beneficial as you moving through the day. Maybe one of these days I'll do a session on movement with my own trainer. His name is, he goes by the handle movementmechanic.in. Go check his Insta handle out. He makes really good points about how movement through the day is important. But when you move, then it helps your body get out of this metabolic low efficiency state, and it keeps your metabolic efficiency at a higher state, and that is really important in ensuring your immune system is at a better place. And the last point, sleep. I cannot emphasize how important sleep is, because what sleep does and what happens during sleep is it's a restorative and regenerative process. So there's a lot of repair work that happens during this time. So if you're not sleeping well, your body doesn't get an opportunity to repair itself. So sleeping at a set time, waking up at a set time every day is the best thing you can do for immune system. A lot of people have trouble with good quality sleep. That's again something we help people with, because that can happen for multiple reasons. So we have to find out why your sleep quality is impaired, and we can help you with that. Now, how do you know if you have all of these things working well for you or not? And that's what I want to talk about. It's really important to find your own personal immunity status. So we do our work with blood tests. We always begin, even if somebody comes to us for like a health issue like fibromyalgia or PCOD or PCOS or diabetes, we always begin our work with blood tests. And even when it comes to understanding somebody's immunity, your blood test is where the answer lies. Because if you see this one that I've put up here, the patient's name is not there, you can see the kind of deficiencies that are visible here, right? So many deficiencies, B12, B6, vitamin C. And then you can see that the immune system also is compromised. All the components of the WBC, the white blood cells, that's not working well. You can see that there is severe level of inflammation, there are allergies happening, there are toxins that are there. So getting your blood test done will let us know if you're deficient in any of the nutrients I spoke of earlier. It will let us know if you have diabetes and insulin resistance, which has not been detected by conventional medicine yet. It will help us know if there's a toxin buildup. It will help us know if your vitamin D levels are low, because if they're really low, then sun exposure is not going to do it quickly. You will need to supplement with good quality vitamin D. And again, with vitamin D, if you over supplement, it can lead to calcification in the kidneys. So you have to be very careful with supplements too. It will let us know if you are having adrenal dysfunction because your sleep is not going well. So my recommendation to everyone, honestly, at this time, is to get your blood test done and find out where you are. Because you know what, like right now there's a first wave going on. It's at the end, like lockdowns have been lifted, most of us are experiencing, we are seeing that the number of cases are increasing. So I'll get to that. I'll talk of when will this coronavirus pandemic be over. But my recommendation is that everyone get their blood test done now, because you know you'll have time to figure out how to fix it before things could get worse in case they are going to. Alright, so moving on. Once you find out what your immunity is like, let's say it's low, what are the foods that you should eat? So that was the first question that a lot of people ask me when even the people who don't know me and they find out I'm a nutritionist, they oh, tell me what to eat for my immunity. The people who know me have been pestering me with this question from March, tell me what to eat for my immunity. So what food should you be really eating, and what are the nutrients you need to get from food. So for a good immune system, you need very good quality protein. You need all your B complex vitamins, so your B1, B2, B6 to B12. All of those B complex vitamins is something that you need. You need your vitamin C, you need vitamin D, which is a little hard to get from food. It's easier to get vitamin D from exposure to the sun and then supplementing. And then you need zinc. Zinc is a critical nutrient when it comes to a really good immune system. Where are these nutrients found in the largest density? My take, so I've been doing this for nearly 3 years, working with people. I've been figuring out nutrition for much longer than that. But what I've seen is animal foods are the most nutrient dense when it comes to all of these nutrients. Now, ideally, in India, of course, beef is not possible, but red meat like mutton, I don't recommend fish too much, though it's in those pictures. I couldn't find any pictures without fish in them because seafood is really contaminated with a lot of toxins in the ocean, but ideally red meat really works well. Eggs are good as well. If you're a vegetarian for ethical, religious reasons and you just can't tolerate the idea of eating meat, then pulses and legumes are where you might get your protein from. You'll get your zinc from pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. You'll get your zinc from a little bit of sesame seeds. Vitamin C, though, you'll get it from oranges and kiwis and sometimes even broccoli. But I'll tell you the problem with these foods. And if you had to ask me the most nutrient dense food that will give you a lot of these nutrients without having to struggle so much, I would recommend liver, like either beef liver or mutton liver, because that's really got a punch of nutrients in it. The problem with this though is, this is a very generic recommendation. What happens to a lot of people is they're often sensitive to different kinds of food, especially the ones who are vegetarians and who cannot think of eating meat. You might be sensitive to a lot of foods that you're eating, and that can build up to a toxin load. So there are foods that are very high in oxalates, for example. Now these oxalates can build up in your body and they can create their own diseases, which might mimic an immune system not being good, but it's because of the oxalates. So with food, while I give generic advice, I really think it's important that each person finds out what works for their body best, because like I said, when we do the blood test and we find out there are maybe 10 things that are going wrong, then you need to find out which foods are going to help fix those 10 things without adding on too much additional problems in the body. So that's what we do. I mean, we have a Thriving 3 program, which is 3 months of personalized nutrition coaching. We work with people to kind of find out, so chickpeas give you problem if you're a vegetarian, then maybe we can do some low oxalate pulses like maybe red gram, which is tur, or we can do maybe some rice which is low in oxalates, and you can still continue to create a personalized menu plan. So that's what we do in those 3 months. So if you're a non-vegetarian and then you're worried about saturated fat, or you're worried about the quality of meat you're eating, or if you're getting all the other nutrients, we can help you figure that out. If you're a vegetarian and you really don't know where to get your protein from, talk to us and we'll help you create your own personalized plan. That's what we do primarily. Now, this is about what you should be eating, and then we move on to the biggest question that everyone has had, that when does this end? ये coronavirus कब खत्म होगा? So कोई भी virus तब खत्म होता है, virus कभी खत्म नहीं होता है. What really happens is people become immune to it as a community. So sitting at home, social distancing, doing lockdowns is of no use, because at some point or the other you are going to be exposed to this virus. It is part of our ecosystem, it's part of our environment, it's there. So you can't sit and be afraid of it and try and isolate yourself. If you intend to be a social creature like most human beings are designed to be, then you are going to be exposed to it. And it is a good thing, because that is how herd community is built. As the virus starts moving on through more and more people get exposed to it, more and more people become immune to it, they recover from it, and then overall the community becomes immune to a virus, and then the virus doesn't affect us. So that is how you build immunity to a virus. So that's why I say community is your immunity. Alone you cannot be immune to anything. Only when the community achieves immune status, then you really have herd immunity. This is how a pandemic ends. Is this really a pandemic? Is this as blown up as it is, as media makes it out to be? Not the topic for this discussion. You can go check my Facebook feed and then you'll see what my opinion about that is. But even if you had to assume this is a pandemic, this is the only way to end a pandemic, with herd immunity. So then, the question that a lot of people have been asking me, which is the most interesting question, but I won't have enough time to talk about it, is कि इसके लिए कोई cure है क्या? Is there a cure for coronavirus? No, I'll come to that, like the vaccine question that a lot of people have. The only cure for a pandemic is exposure, build herd immunity, and make sure your personal immune response is so strong that no virus can collapse your system. That is your job. Your job is not to sit and put sanitizer all over yourself. Your job is not to buy the biggest and the most and the prettiest mask and wear it on your face. That is not it. That is what the government is asking you to do. That's what media is asking you to do. The only thing that one needs to do is build your immunity, take responsibility for your health, build your immunity. So when you're exposed to any virus in the future, like I made a short video this morning. I was like, this is called COVID-19. The next one might be called Shit Show 2020. It doesn't matter what the name is, as long as you build your own personal immunity. And then the question is, when should you do it? At what point of time should you start building your immunity? Well, I would say the time is now, because already they are talking of a second wave, and it's quite likely that it might happen, because in winter, the flu season is on anyway. So maybe by October, November, you might have a second wave of the viruses that will come. Now, at that point of time, if your body is not ready to fight a virus, you are going to experience a really difficult time. So the time to build your immunity is today, it is now. Now is the time to start. You'll have 3 months before the second wave comes. Do it now. Now, going on to the vaccine, right? So a lot of people are like, bus vaccine aa jayega to fir main, vaccine leke bahar ja sakti hu, kind of a thing, which is, I find it ridiculous, because if you knew what vaccines did to the human body, you'd never think of a vaccine as a cure. And I really do not have the time to talk about vaccines right now, but about maybe a month ago, we did a live session on vaccines. It was nearly 1.5 hours. It was some of the best speakers who understood vaccines in depth had come on board, and we did 5 of us did a vaccine live. It's on Thrive FNC's YouTube channel. Please go watch it if you're somebody who's waiting for a vaccine as the cure. Trust me on this, vaccines are not a cure. Vaccines do nothing to build your adaptive or innate immunity. It's just something that the pharmaceutical companies peddle, and vaccines actually create a whole lot of chronic health problems, because they have fetal genetic material, they have dog and cat DNA in them. So go watch this talk and learn what vaccines really are, and then decide what you should be doing. Should you be building your immunity with natural systems that I showed? Just 6 things: food, sleep, sun exposure, detoxification, movement, and I forgot what the last one was, but maybe we'll go back to the slide, because for me it's those 5-6 systems. Instead of waiting for one injection to cure. Okay, so go watch this vaccines talk. It will really give you a lot of insights on what vaccines do. Now, I told you, I promised you that, I forgot to ask this question. I hope people didn't see the slide. So I had told my team that if anybody guesses the ingredients of this secret concoction that we have, I will offer them a free consultation. So I'll tell you why this is so special. So this is something that we invented because we kind of found out all the herbs from the kitchen that had antiviral, antibiotic effects. I wouldn't recommend drinking a concoction, a tea like this on a daily basis, because even the ingredients in this, if consumed every day, would have a negative effect. But if you are experiencing an infection, then at a time like this tea really works well. 1.5 weeks ago, I experienced the beginning of a really nasty viral infection. My throat was all itchy, scratchy, hurting and swollen. I drank this through the day. I just took my zinc. I took an extra dose of vitamin D, and I'm telling you, in 24 hours I was out of it. Somebody else I knew was experiencing the same symptoms on day 1, and they took 4 days to recover from it. This tea has helped a lot of people cut down their infection time. So I want to know if any of you can guess what are the ingredients in this. I won't be able to switch screens right now. So I'm going to give you like 1 minute to type out the ingredients, and then whoever ingredient list is the most accurate gets a free consultation from me. That's a promise. So your 1 minute starts now. Okay, the yellow color is a giveaway because you know what yellow, like what's that yellow color? Everyone knows that, and everybody I think has been drinking a lot of it. But there are other ingredients that you might not be able to guess. And another 10 seconds. And I think time's up. So I'm now going to show what it's made of, and I'll tell you why each one is so good. But please remember, this is only when you feel like you have an active infection. Don't overdose on this, because turmeric can in fact interfere with detoxification pathways. Oops, I gave out an ingredient. So there is turmeric in it, there is black pepper in it, there is oregano, and there's thyme in it. So all of these are antiviral and antibacterial when taken for a short while you have an active infection. Do not overindulge in it, because each of them then can interfere with your detoxification pathways. But it's very simple to make. You just boil 1 cup of water, add these ingredients, boil it for another 10 minutes, and then let it steep. So cover it and let it steep for 5 minutes, and then you could add honey after the boiling is completed. 1 teaspoon of raw organic wild honey which is not pasteurized, and then drink it hot and share this with your family and friends. I'm telling you, this is like a super power tea. It really cuts down infection time. It does. I've seen it work, not just in my case, but almost everyone's case who gets infections. Alright. So that's the end of what I wanted to say. I'm going to now switch to answering the questions that might be there. Alright.